we know is this is a group of students who...
The Thornton Family Foundation is part of a legacy for the late Frances Lee Thornton. She was the first African American for many different things in the journalism industry. She had a compassion for supporting animals, combating hunger, as well as providing educational opportunities for students. What you'd like to do, say, within the next 2 years. So we actually started the day having students identify, what do you think you're going to do in the next 1-2 years? Let's just think about that. Yes, where you see yourself in the next couple of years. So there are individuals to whom they don't know what their educational opportunities are. There are individuals who, if they didn't get the information through some way, shape, or form, they would not know. And so the Thornton Family Foundation is an opportunity to, in fact, give them the venue and the opportunity to learn about things that they otherwise would not have available to them.
So what I found is a lot of the students just weren't prepared for higher education. So what we're trying to do at College Ready is to prepare them at an early age as possible.
This was our opportunity to actually bring the students to a place and learn about different venues and avenues for them to explore their education. So we want today to actually represent things and enrichment for them to understand. What is it about the educational experience? What can I do to get to the next level? And to actually have some active, engaged activities where they plan. They get a sense of, this is what I can do. This is what I can do beyond the next 2 years, how to plan for the next 2 years, just to kind of set the stage for some things. So we wanted to welcome them, and that's how the welcome started.
I remember when I was a kid, my mom used to work at a college as a janitor. It was never in my mind that I could be a student at that school. So the reason we started College Ready, what College Ready does is to get to students at an early age to let you know that there is something beyond high school.
We then transitioned into, in fact, an academic panel, and that panel was comprised of individuals that actually provided service information. They provided information about the 2-year experience, as well as information about the 4-year experience. And again, this is to help our students that were a part of the program to know what it is their options, in fact, are. We then transitioned also to a session about financial considerations, because the reality is, even though you want to go to a 4-year institution, go to a 2-year institution, it has to be paid for by some way, shape, or form. And if you're not thinking about that right on the front end, then you actually can think about, hey, if I want to do a service opportunity, then that's something I can think about how to actually fund my education afterwards. So it gives them the breadth of understanding the different educational experiences, but also the expectations associated with those experiences.
Well, one of the keys is that we've made it, or we've achieved certain goals. We achieved financial stability, and it's important to turn around and to reach back and to help someone else do that same thing. Maybe share some kernel that lands with them so that they are interested in going to talk to someone about, well, I heard someone say.
So the educational workshop is an opportunity for students to get hands-on experience so that they can leave each of the sessions with something tangible. There are a lot of programs that create these opportunities for students to visit, and then they leave, and that's it. For this particular program, we want to make sure that students not only learn throughout the day, but they also have something tangible. So we talk about things such as SMART goals. We also talk about what is it that you need to do to plan for the next level. During the academic workshop, as we fast forward, they then have to plan. How do I get to this particular place? I've heard something about the 2-year institution. I've heard something about the 4-year institution. I've heard about military service. Didn't know that there were scholarship opportunities. How do I plan that out? So we have smaller, moderated sessions where individuals are working together to make sure that they're engaging with the students. What do you want to do? How do you get to that next point? And making sure that you're creating those SMART goals so that you have something to reach forward to as you continue on your journey.
I can relate to a lot of the students that we're working with in the room now, and I know were it not for the mentorship, for kind of the examples, the leaders in my own kind of family and social circle, that I wouldn't have been prepared for college. And I think being able to kind of be that partner and that mentor for students who know they have these goals and aspirations but don't know how quite to channel it, don't know how to navigate kind of the logistics and kind of structural barriers that applying to college and getting through college might provide, that we can be there to just kind of assist them and equip them to kind of make those informed decisions and follow through on those action steps as well.
Well, it's important because at the Naval Academy, we have to seek the finest students from across the nation to apply and attend our institution. So whenever we hear College Ready and the Thornton Foundation put an event where they're getting kids from inner city Baltimore to learn about what it takes to be college ready, we have to take part in it because those are the students that we have to let know about opportunities at the Naval Academy.
So one of the things that we emphasize for our tour, it's not so much as the venue that we're at right now. It's really about making students aware of the things that you need to focus on. So what do the buildings look like where you'll be learning? What are some of the places that you need to be aware of? Do you feel comfortable at these particular places? If you're going to be registering for classes, if you're going to be living somewhere, those are the things that students need to have takeaways, no matter what their experience is, whether it's a 2-year institution, whether it's a 4-year institution, whether it's a military sort of experience. We need to make sure that they understand that these are all components that they need to focus and take away, no matter where the experience is.
Libraries and things like that. This is one of several libraries that we have on our campus. However, you do want to think about where will I study? Where will I be able to do research? Okay? You want to make sure you know that.
All right, 1, 2, 3.
We are making an impact because what we're doing is we're bringing education to the families, to the students ahead of the time for them to start thinking about going to college. So now they're getting prepared earlier in their careers.
It was a great day. So the initial posters were just to gauge where the students are. And then the final posters were the takeaways because we've imparted all this information all day with them. And so now it's a question of, now that you've heard from the different individuals, now that you've actually gotten a takeaway and a plan for yourself, what do you envision? Because it's not enough to say, I want to go to college, but what do you do to make those steps? Have we impacted you in some certain way? And so we've got a number of different individuals who took a direct quote from one of the speakers. If your dreams don't scare you, then you shouldn't dream it. One thing I have learned from today was to be open to new things and to take high school as practice for college. There are individuals that have learned that the military can definitely be an enjoyable job. Follow your curiosities because they can lead to your passion. There are many opportunities out there. Always have an open mind. And that's perhaps one of my favorites because it actually tells what the day was all about, making sure that individuals understand what their passion is and helping them to achieve that passion and to empowering them to be better. We want them to come and know that we are invested in their future and that they can make a difference because they are our future. And so we have to keep in mind that as we prepare students, this is our future. And we want to make sure that the future is bright and it's equitable no matter where a student comes from.
Michelle Guyton is the real deal. She is what she says she is. She is a person who cares about every single person in this district.
She knows how to get legislation done within the system effectively and work across aisles and cost effectively.
She's very much a pragmatic problem solver, and Michelle, like this district would demand, works across the aisle.
She doesn't see down party lines. I'm Republican, she's Democrat. I'm behind her for the person, not the politics. She genuinely tries to investigate each issue and judge what's best for her constituents.
It's been said and said and said, but she's a hard worker.
And there is no one that works harder than her in Annapolis.
It is so important that we have someone, and I feel like somebody with my priorities and with my responsiveness and being entrenched in the community to represent the true values and priorities of Baltimore County.
We need Delegate Michelle Guyton reelected in 2022.
We created Star Academy so students could have a place where they could get introduced to STEM activities like robotics, game design, 3D printing, drones, and the most important thing was that it would be fun.
Star Academy is a place where people come to excel with technology, to meet new friends, and to build a sense of accomplishment and self-confidence. You know, we learned early on that there was a gap in the market where there should be a robust system for technology training. If your student is interested in technology, there's far less for them to do than there is with, say, sports.
There's nothing like this at his school, so it gives him a chance to go use his mind of building and learning and expanding that I could not do for him. And it gives him a chance to go out there and work with other kids and be a part of a team and actually work with older kids and just programs and things that I would never even imagine.
Well, they come here to fly and program drones, to learn about 3D printing, to join a robotics team, or just to learn about robotics for the first time. They learn about virtual reality and game development, coding. These are things that you just can't get anywhere else, but we have them right here at Star Academy.
We've been coming to the Star Academy for about a year now, and he loves to build things. He's talking about being an engineer since he was, I want to say, third grade. And as a mom and a STEM mom and with a STEM background, I said I have to foster his love for science. I came here and we got introduced to a whole world that we never even knew about.
What we do is we talk to the technology employers and the university admission departments to see what they're looking for in applicants in 4 to 5 years. Then we build those skills and experiences into our training programs here at Star Academy.
I'm an IT professional at UPS, and I've been working there for 20 years. One of the primary things I do here at Star Academy is to serve as a mentor to the students. I mentor new kids that are coming in. So also I actually mentor some of the parents and help them understand how to get involved with Star Academy and the various technology opportunities.
I had been looking for a place like Star Academy for many, many years for my son. All he ever wanted to do is play video games. And I said to him, if you're going to play video games, let's make this your career and let's learn how to do video games. And that's why this was just such a godsend, because it actually filled the need that I was looking for and something that I could afford.
People often want to know how to get started. We have level 1 classes and we have intro classes on all of our topics. And the great thing is once you get started, you can go from topic to topic, and a lot of them use the same skills. It's really exciting. One thing I can tell you for sure, nobody leaves without a smile.
Star Academy is very unique, and one of the things that's unique about it is it does bring that connection. They introduce younger kids into STEM, into robotics, into drones and all those things, and then they bring companies in to sponsor these kids, to meet these kids. It's a great networking. I get to see who's learning and who the high school kids are. I can recommend them to go into certain schools, and I have done it in the past, I hire them as co-ops and interns. It's a perfect connection.
If you boil it all down, what's really happening here is building minds and futures.
Do you see what I see when you drive around Howard County? When you pass a development or construction site, do you wonder too, how did that thing get approved? Here in Howard County, the extreme flooding of 2011, 2016, and again in 2018 are stark warnings that we need to take strong action to prevent further irreparable harm to our local environment. Our homes, our businesses, our safety, our future. We can no longer afford to do business as usual here in Howard County. Our county planning and zoning procedures today still allow developers to obtain waivers or just pay fees to get around sound environmental law already on the books. Council Bill 38 is proposed legislation to stop those abuses in our most vulnerable watershed, the Patapsco Lower North Branch. Now, some think this bill is too ambitious, and many myths about its impact have surfaced. The truth is that this is real, meaningful legislation by design to protect and preserve what we care about most here in Howard County, and it is endorsed by many concerned organizations and individuals. Your Howard County Council members need to hear that you too are strongly in favor of Council Bill 38. Email your support to councilmail@howardcountymd.gov. Please be sure to include CB38 in the subject line and also what council district you're emailing us from. And make plans to join us for the public hearing on CB38 on Monday, September 16th, beginning at 7 p.m. at the George Howard Building. We can do this. We can do this right, and we can do this right now. This watershed can't wait.
Are you a business owner, entrepreneur, or sales professional seeking a surefire way to build better relationships, get more leads, and make more money? If so, you need to attend the Next Generation Business Networking Summit on October 23rd in Baltimore, Maryland. The theme of this summit is Where Handshake Meets Handheld. The next generation of networking will be a hybrid of in-person networking and online networking. But we all know that it's easy to get lost or even paralyzed from technology overload. Finding a balance is critical, and that's what our summit will address.
I absolutely would recommend it to any small business that's looking to interface and connect with other people, regardless of the industry.
You'll get step-by-step training focusing on income-generating activities that will turn you into the ultimate business networker, enabling you to attract a ton of new clients. 2 awesome keynote presenters headline the day: Kate Ladon, renowned LinkedIn trainer and branding expert, and Marcus Ogden, entrepreneur, business coach, and former Baltimore Raven. There will also be a large lineup of other top professionals active within the networking and marketing space who will share their secrets. We guarantee that you will learn new strategies, roadmaps, and actionable items that you can immediately use. In fact, if within the first 2 hours of the start of the summit, you haven't felt that it's been worthwhile, you can get a refund, no questions asked. But we're confident you won't need to take us up on that. There will, of course, be time for networking, and there will be door prizes, food, and so much more.
It is just cranking in here. It's great, and I can't wait for the next one.
By the end of the day-long summit, you will discover why Where Handshake Meets Handheld is the future of networking. Reserve your seat today. Go to handshakemeetshandheld.com.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining us. We appreciate your support as we launch Living Wage Howard County.
Most of us in Howard County do great. We have great lives. We send our kids to amazing schools, and we really reap the benefits of this amazing American economy, even in the midst of a pandemic. But 28% of us do not have enough to make ends meet every month. 28%, 1 in 4 households.
Every person deserves the dignity of a paycheck that reflects the importance of their work and provides for their needs. Now is the time to change policies to make living wages a reality for all of us. Our entire community prospers when household income increases. Howard County has a tremendous opportunity to create a new future for ourselves. Both the COVID-19 pandemic and the Howard County Racial Equity Task Force's final report laid bare the urgent need for us to increase the minimum wage. We urge the County Council to advance legislation requiring a $15 minimum wage for all employers and government contractors beginning in 2022.
Raising the minimum wage would strengthen Howard County's economy. When low-wage workers see an increase to their income, they put it toward things like food, clothing, and other necessities, and that strengthens sales at local businesses. It also makes the county a more attractive place to work, which then makes it easier for companies to hire qualified workers.
The affected workers would on average see their annual incomes go up by more than $2,200 a year. 39% of benefiting workers are white and 61% are workers of color. 1/3 of all black workers in the county would see their wages go up, as would half of all Latinx workers and 30% of working women. Finally, researchers have built up a large body of high-quality evidence on how increasing wage standards affect the economy. There are 2 big takeaways. Number 1, higher family incomes lead to healthier kids who do better in school and ultimately in the workforce. Number 2, the sky does not fall. The bulk of high-quality research shows no meaningful impact on unemployment or the number of jobs available.
Well, providing a living wage will promote stability in housing, and if our students can stay in one place and attend one school, they'll be able to form bonds with their teachers and their colleagues, and that will help their chances for success.
Good morning. My name is Kesia Holliday, and I've lived in Howard County my whole life. I was born in Baltimore, and my mom, in looking for a place to raise me and my brother, chose Columbia. She read about it in 1970. About the villages and the multicultural values and the interfaith centers. And she said, that's where I want to raise my kids. I still worship at the Oakland Mills Interfaith Center today. I attended Phelps Luck Elementary, Wild Lake Middle School, and Howard High School, and went to work for the Howard County school system. For 22 years now, I've been a special education paraeducator, almost entirely at Title I schools. I love my job, and I love having a job that is important to my community. Affirmations from the kids and their parents mean a lot. But in the 22 years I have been a full-time paraeducator, I've always had to work other jobs at nights, on the weekends, in order to make ends meet. But my financial situation isn't the only story. I've seen the effects of low wages every day in my students' lives. Kids come to school hungry. Kids come to school late because their parents are both at work working double shifts to make the rent. Kids miss out on after-school activities because the child care is expensive and they must care for their younger siblings. I'm supporting this campaign because we can afford to make life a little easier for my students, their parents, and the people like me who make their schools run. Thank you.
As a man of faith, I believe that a decent living wage is a moral and ethical right. The Hebrew Bible speaks in Deuteronomy 15, 7-8, that if anyone is in need among your brothers and sisters, in any towns of the land the Lord God has given you, do not be hard-hearted or tight-fisted toward them, but rather be open-handed and freely lend them whatever they need. I believe this biblical principle to be true, and I think this is very much applicable to our situation of wanting to make sure that all people in Howard County have a decent living wage. Today we are asking our county government not to be hard-hearted or tight-fisted, but to be open and free to extend a decent living wage to all of those who live in the county.
We are grateful to Councilwoman Christiana Rigby for being with us today to support our campaign. Her early work, along with Councilman Opal Jones, in establishing the Racial Equity Task Force, set the course for this campaign.
Too many people who work in Howard County cannot afford to live here, and far too many people who live in Howard County are already burdened by the cost of housing, utilities, and other basic needs. A living wage is good for our community, it's good for our economy, and it is simply the right thing to do.
We'd like to welcome Council Chairwoman Liz Walsh.
Thank you. We have from the council Deb Young from District 4. If you're counting, that's 4 council members who seem to be in support of what is, I think, what many of us view a moral issue. Howard County here, we can and we should lead on this issue. It's time to lift our nearest neighbors, our hardest working neighbors, to a living wage. And we can do that. We can do it now. It's time for a $15 minimum wage in Howard County.
You may be asking yourself, why do we need this? Because didn't Maryland pass a minimum wage bill a few years ago where it raised the minimum wage to $15? Yes, but not immediately. And for those of you who pay attention, you know it's a slow walk up to $15 an hour. In fact, by the time we get there, probably won't be a sufficient minimum wage if it even is right now. The counties are within their rights to raise the minimum wage on their own, and some counties, at least one I know of, has done it. Howard County can follow suit. They can move ahead. And then once we get a minimum wage established, it's important for us to index it so it keeps up with the rising cost of living so that people keep up as well.
Like all racial equity issues, a living wage is not just an issue of racial equity, it is an issue of human decency and dignity. And we need to take action.
The campaign begins today. So the campaign begins today. Visit livingwagehoco.org and sign our petition. Email your county council. Talk to your neighbors and friends. Share our message with your congregation, with your networks, with your clubs and organizations. Join our coalition. Join the fight for a living wage in Howard County.
It really happened on the campaign trail. Jorge had published on his Facebook page an article he had written about himself and his family and his family's heritage. And he asked me to comment. So I took time and read it. And I thought it was a very cogent, well-written piece. And it wasn't until later that I found out he was actually an autistic person.
He was diagnosed at the age of 3, and we had the opportunity to work with him with different therapies. When they graduate from high school, we need programs that are there for them, to help them to transition.
I work as a team member at Mod Pizza at the Colonial Mall. In that job, I do various tasks.
He's been the best interview I've ever had in my whole career. This young man sat down and said, hey, Mob was started in 2008 by Scott and Allie. I've already read your whole demographics. I know what the company's about. And I telling everybody, I was like, he's been the best interview I've ever had.
He's very happy. It's one of the things that changed his life. The fact that he feels productive, that he feels that he's doing something, that he's independent, and that is one of the most important things. We need to make them feel independent, that they can do things on their own. We need vocational training, we need job placement, We also need mobility to help them reach their full potential and to be integrated into our communities. They need that support.
We need Stephen Boland in the House of Delegates.
We need to work together across party lines to assure that every Maryland child can achieve her or his full potential. We need to start early with certifications, apprenticeships, and course curricula that connect our students to opportunities after high school. Our policies have to be shaped by the needs of the people. We elect our leaders to look out for us, and that's what I'm going to do.
Board of Education races are officially nonpartisan, but our public education has always been political. It's not a secret that there's a nationwide movement to privatize our schools, to erase our LGBTQIA+ staff and students, and to ban books. We want to believe that this couldn't happen in Howard County. I'm Amy Brooks, and I am a Howard County public school teacher. When I hear Tootie Adler talking about how she doesn't want our schools to affirm our students' identity, sexual orientation, or gender, I'm very worried that our students aren't going to feel like schools are the safe place for them to go each day.
One of the books that they're talking about, it embarrasses me to even talk about it, is Gender Queer. I believe it is completely inappropriate, and as others have said, school is for school. We need to have core education. Values are taught at home by parents whenever and if they decide.
It's so important for kids to come to school and know that they're worthy, that we celebrate everything that they're bringing to the table, not just their intelligence, but their whole selves. The whole child is who we teach, and the whole child is who we should be lifting up. We need representatives on the Board of Education who will fight for every child. Vote for Jackie McCoy and Dan Newberger for Board of Education by mail or in person no later than November 8th. Let's work together for a stronger Howard County.